Hello dear students, let us start Standard 9 ICSE syllabus Atomic Structure Part 3. In the previous video, we had discussed about discovery of atomic nucleus, postulates of Rutherford's atomic model, drawbacks of Rutherford's atomic model, postulates of Bohr's atomic model, discovery of neutrons, and atomic number and mass number. In this video, our objective is to learn the following topics: arrangement of electrons, isotopes, reason for chemical activity of an atom, octet rule and duplet rule. So let us start today's session. Children, at first let us learn some atomic terms one by one. Electronic configuration. The arrangement of electrons in different energy shells around the nucleus of an atom is called electronic configuration. Valence shell. The outermost shell is called valence shell. Valence electrons. The electrons present in the valence shell are called valence electrons. Valency. The number of hydrogen atoms that will combine or replace one atom of that hydrogen is called valency. Octet configuration. An element with 8 valence electron is said to possess an octet configuration. They are said to be stable. Electronic configuration. Children, we know very well that the arrangement of electrons in different energy shells around the nucleus of an atom is called electronic configuration. Okay, so this arrangement of electrons in different energy shells was given by Bohr-Bury scheme. Bohr-Bury scheme. Okay. So, what was the rules of this Bohr-Bury scheme? Okay, so now we'll study the rules of Bohr-Bury scheme. First rule. Okay, the shells were given the names K, L, M and N. Okay, the names of the shells were given as K, L, M and N. For example, this is the nucleus. So this is the first shell, that is K. This is the second shell, okay, L. This is third, M, and this is the fourth one. This is N. Okay, so for K, N is equal to 1. For L, N is equal to 2. For M shell, N is equal to 3. And for N shell, N is equal to 4. Okay, now second rule. Maximum number of electrons in the energy shell is given by the formula 2n square. Okay, maximum number of electrons in an energy shell is given by the formula 2n square. That means, for example, if K is equal to, for K shell, when N is equal to 1, then the maximum number of electrons that can accommodate in this shell is 2n square. That means 2, 1 square. That means 2. Similarly, for L, N is equal to 2. So that's why 2n square. That means 2, 2 square. That means 2 into 4. That is 8. For M, we know that here N is equal to 3, so 3 square, that is 18. Okay, similarly for N, N is equal to 4, so 2n square, that means 2, 4 square, that means 4 4 is 16, 16 2 is 32. So the maximum number of electrons that can accommodate in K shell is 2. L shell, the number of electrons in L shell should be 8, not more than that. In case of M shell, the number of electrons that can accommodate is 18, and in case of N shell, 32 electrons. Okay, now what is the third rule? Energy fill up the shells in stepwise manner. Stepwise manner means electrons first fill up the inner shell, and then one by one they are occupying the next shell. Okay, first they will fill up the inner shell. First K cell, then N, then M, then N. Like this, fill up of electrons takes place. Okay, so electrons fill up the shells in a stepwise manner. Stepwise manner. That means first in the inner shell completely. First in the inner shell completely, and then occupy the next shell. Okay. Now, the number of electrons which can accommodate in the valence shell. Here the valence shell is N. Okay. That means the outermost shell is called as valence shell. So the number of electrons in the valence shell should be 8, and it should not be more than 8 electrons. Okay. So the outermost electrons, the outermost shell can contain only 8 electrons. It should not be more than that, 8 electrons. Okay. Now, let us understand this with the help of one example. So let us understand the concept of electronic configuration with the help of an example. Okay. So let us consider the atomic number of sodium atom. Okay. So what is the atomic number of sodium atom, children? Atomic number of sodium atom, it is 11. Okay. So the number of electrons present will be 11. So what is the electronic configuration? I am writing EC. EC means electronic configuration. So what is the electronic configuration of sodium atom? It is 2, 8, 1. So in K shell 2 electrons are present, in L shell 8 electrons are present, and in M shell 1 electron is present. So which is the outermost shell? Here M is the outermost shell. And what is the valence electron here? Here the valence electron is 1. Okay, valence electron is 1. So how can we represent this in the orbital structure? In the form of orbital structure. Okay, so this diagram are called as orbital structure. Okay, so now let us draw the diagram or draw the orbital structure of sodium atom. Children, here you can see very clearly I have drawn the shells, but this is wrong, because here before drawing the orbital structure you should not forget to draw the nucleus. Okay, you should not forget to draw the nucleus of sodium atom. Understand? So first you should draw the nucleus, then after that you can draw the energy shells or orbits. Okay. So now, so according to this we have written that the electronic configuration of sodium atom is 281. So in the first shell, according to the rule, we should start from the inner shell. So here 2 electrons are present in the first shell, then 8 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in the third shell 1 electron. Okay, as we know that in the outermost shell, that means the outermost shell should not contain more than 8 electrons. So here also we are having 1 electron, so it is not more than 8. Okay, now this is the first example. Let us consider another example. Okay, let us consider potassium atom. Potassium atoms. Children, what is the atomic number of potassium? 19. Okay, so what is the formula of potassium, children? K. Okay, the formula of potassium is K. So here also you can see while drawing the orbital structure, it is very much necessary to draw the nucleus of potassium. So now let us find out what should be the number of electrons in the potassium atom if the atomic number of potassium is 90. So here the number of electrons will be 19, because we know very well that atomic number is nothing but equal to number of electrons. Okay, now what is the electronic configuration of potassium? Electronic configuration of potassium atom, children, it is 2, 8, 8, 1. That means this is K, L, M, N. Okay, now you must be thinking that M shell can accommodate 18 electrons. Okay, we know that M shell can accommodate 18 electrons. So why can't we write like this? 2, 8, 9. Okay, we cannot write like this, children. This is the correct form and this is the wrong form. The reason is that we know in case of Bohr-Bury scheme, one rule is the outermost shell should not contain more than 8 electrons. So here this is the outermost shell and it is here only you can see that 9. That means it is more than 8 electrons. So this is wrong. You should write like this. Okay, this is the correct form of writing electronic configuration of potassium. Okay, so now let us draw the orbital structure. So this is the nucleus. You should not forget to draw this. After that, this is the first, this is the wrong form. Okay, so we should write this one. Okay, so in K shell we are having 2 electrons. Okay, in L shell we are having 8 electrons. Okay, in M again 8 electrons. And in case of N, we are having 1 electron. So total you see 10, 18, 19. So we are getting. Okay. So here what is the valence electron, children? 1. Here 1 is the valence electron of, that means the valence electron of potassium is 1. Okay. Valency of an element. Children, how can we find out the valency of an element? Okay. The number of valence electrons in an atom determines the valency. Okay, the number of valence electrons in an atom determines the valency. That means we can find out the valency by knowing the number of valence electrons. Okay, so here we need to follow certain rules, okay, in order to find the valency. If the number of valence electron is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, 1, 2 and or 3. If it is 1, 2 or 3. Then how can we find the valency? Here valency can be find out. Valency of the element can be find out by knowing the number of its valence electrons. By knowing the number of its valence electrons. For example, aluminium, what is the electronic configuration of aluminium, children? Aluminium, it is 2, 8, 3. Okay, so what is the valence electron of aluminium? 3. So it is coming under this rule, because it is told that it should have either 1, 2 or 3 electrons. So we are having here 3 as the valence electron of aluminium. So what should be the valency here? The valency is nothing but the number of its valence electron, that is 3. So valency of aluminium is 3. Okay, similarly, if the number of valence electron is 4, 5, 6 or 7, 4, 5, 6 or 7. So in that case, valency can be find out by this formula, that is valency is equal to 8 minus number of valence electron. Number of valence electron. That means let us consider one example, oxygen. So what is the electronic configuration of oxygen, children? 2, 6. That means it is coming under second rule, that is this rule. So how can we find the valency? Here valency can be find out by subtracting 6 from 8. Okay, so 8 minus 6, that is 2. So valency of oxygen is 2. Okay, similarly, third one, if the valence electron is equal to 8, so in that case, how to find the valency of the element? Children, if the valence electron is 8, that means they are having 8 electrons in the valence cell. That means they possess octet configuration, and they are considered to be stable. So in that case, valency will be equal to 0. Okay, valency will be equal to 0. So the element, those who are having valence electron, that means 8 electrons in the outermost shell, they are called as noble gases, and they are inert, that means inert, that means they are not taking part, that means they are not taking part in a chemical reaction, reaction. Okay, this is all about the valency of an element. Our next topic is isotopes. What do you mean by isotopes? Isotopes are the atoms of the same element having same atomic number and different mass number. Okay. Different mass number is due to difference in the number of neutrons. Neutrons are present in the nucleus, as we know that. Isotopes occupy the same position in the periodic table. Why, children? Because they have same atomic number, and our modern periodic table is based on atomic number. Okay, the arrangement of the elements in our modern periodic table is based on atomic number. Okay, they have similar chemical properties due to same atomic number but different physical properties due to different mass number. Okay. Isotopes. Children, we know very well that isotopes are atoms of the same element having same atomic number but different mass number. They have same atomic number and different mass number. Okay, so let us read about the isotopes of chlorine. Okay, as we know, children, chlorine exists in two isotopic forms. Okay, the means chlorine has two isotopes. Okay, that is chlorine 35 and chlorine 37. Let us try to find out the atomic number, mass number, electrons, protons and neutrons of both the isotopes one by one. So at first we'll find for chlorine 35. Okay, children, tell me what is the atomic number of this one? It is 17, right? Mass number 35. Electrons, we know that the number of electrons is equal to the atomic number, so that is 17. Protons also same 17. And how can we find the neutrons, children? It is mass number minus atomic number, that is 35 minus 17, that is 18. Okay, now let us find the same for the another isotope of chlorine, that is chlorine 37. Okay, so here atomic number is same 17, because we know very well that isotopes are having same atomic number, and here mass number is 37. Electrons same as atomic number, that is 17. Protons 17. And how can we find the neutrons? Mass number minus atomic number, that is 37 minus 17, that is 20. Okay, children, one question generally we are getting in the exam, the question is like this: atomic mass of chlorine is a fraction and not a whole number. Why? Okay, why? So children, we know very well that atomic mass is the ratio of the mass of the average of all isotopes, the average of all isotopes of an element to the mass of 1/12 of carbon atom. Okay, we know very well that about 75% of naturally occurring chlorine is chlorine 35 and 25% is chlorine 37. Okay, so here 75% is chlorine 35 and 25% is chlorine 37. Okay, so now here what or we can say that approximately one atom out of every 4 is chlorine 37 17. Okay, that means from here we can learn that it can exist in ratio 3:1. Okay, 3:1. That means 3 atoms of chlorine 37. 3 atoms of chlorine 35 and 1 atom of chlorine 37. That means 3 atoms of chlorine 3517 and 1 atom of chlorine 3717. Okay, so here 3 atoms of chlorine 35 means 3 into 35, and here 1 atom of chlorine 37 means we will get 1 into 37. Okay, so 3 into 35 is your 105 and 1 into 37 is your 37. So now children, tell me, how can we find the average? Average we can find by adding this 2, that is 105 plus 37 divided by 4, because it exists in the ratio 3:1, so by 4. So here it is coming 142 by 4. So what is the answer, children? 35.5. Okay, 35.5. So here you can see very clearly that it is a fraction, okay, not a whole number. So like this you can prove that atomic mass of chlorine is a fraction and not a whole number. Children, here you can see clearly the isotopes of hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine and carbon, where you can find the variation in the number of neutrons. This slide tells you about the atomic diagram of first 20 elements based on their position in the periodic table. Okay, so just go through this table. This slide refers to the atomic structure of first 18 elements, and it gives you information about the symbol, atomic number, number of protons, number of neutrons, number of electrons, distribution of electrons in various shells, and valency of first 18 elements. So just go through this table, and what you need to do is you have to find the same for potassium and calcium. Okay. What is duplet rule? 2 electrons in the first shell, like that of noble gas helium. Here you can see clearly in the orbital structure of helium that it is having 2 electrons in the outermost shell. So that is called duplet rule. And what do you mean by octet rule? Atoms tend to achieve stable electronic configuration by having 8 electrons in the outermost shell, like that of noble gases other than helium. So in the diagram you can see that in case of neon, argon and krypton, they are having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. That is your octet rule. That means having 8 electrons in the outermost shell is called octet rule. Now let us learn what is the reason for chemical activity of an atom. Children, it is due to unstable electronic configuration. Now let us learn what we mean by stable and unstable electronic configuration. Stable electronic configuration is when the valence shell of an element is completely filled. Completely filled means they are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Whereas unstable electronic configuration is when the valence shell of an element is not completely filled. Okay, here in this animation you can see that the electron which is present in the valence shell of sodium is getting transferred to the valence shell of fluorine, and hence both of them are attaining stable electronic configuration. Why? Because they are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Okay, so chemical activity of an atom is taking place to attain a stable electronic configuration by transferring one or more electrons or by sharing one or more electrons, which we will be reading in detail in chapter 4, that is chemical bonding, in the next video.